Hey, welcome to the Sharon Jesus podcast, where we share stories, awesome ministry moments, and everything in between. And today is one of those everything in between. Today, we are talking about sports.
Love
everything
sports.
I
love them.
Current, past, present, and joining me today is our lead pastor, Michael Reese, our associate pastor, Sean Collins, and our student pastor, Rob Cox. And we're going to kick this episode off today with some current events, current things that have been going down in sports. But our segments today are going to be some of the most iconic sports moments and also the greatest sports teams of all time. So let's kick it off with what's going on right now. Some things. I know, Rob, what were you talking about earlier?
Man, we got to talk about Tim Tebow. If we're going to talk about what's going on current, Tim Tebow is making a buzz.
There's some cool things happening.
Tim Tebow,
right now.
what about old man Philly Mick?
Well, Phil just won golf, the PGA Championship. Was that it? Yeah.
Yes.
At 50, the oldest person to win
He's
a
not
PGA
old, though.
major.
He's not old.
Well, 50
Like
is.
for golf, he's not old.
No, he's not.
Yes, but still, 50 years old. It is quite the accomplishment. Jack was 46 when he won the Masters in 86. And here we have, and I get
You know
it,
what Phil told Jack?
I get it. The
You don't know
fitness-
Jack. That's what he told him.
I get it, the fitness. I mean, the fitness,
Yeah.
but still, you're going up against, 20, 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's quite the accomplishment.
I watched the
Absolutely.
replay of the event, and he was under like 6 or 7, like way in the lead by like 4 or 5 strokes.
Yes.
And by like hole 15 or 16 or 17, he got close because he got a few bogeys.
He did, yes, and that's the thing, to have the mental fortitude to press on, because he could have gave up.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't just that long ago that Tom Watson at 56 was leading the British Open, and he missed a par putt on the 18th, which put him into a playoff, and he lost. That would have been just unbelievable.
I remember that event,
But
too.
Philly Mick can't take anything away from him. He is the man right now. Now, can't talk about golf without talking about Tiger Woods. My thing is, does this fuel Tiger Woods in a comeback to win again?
And he won the Masters in 2019.
Correct.
I think he'll still try to win one. I think he will.
What age was he then when he won the Masters in 2019?
40.
Hey, let's invite. How old is he right now?
Tiger Woods, I
Let's
don't know.
invite
He's in
Siri
his
on our
late
show.
40s. Go ahead.
You're going
Unlock
to
my phone.
You gonna ask Siri?
see if you can
right
get
now,
that
live?
going.
How old is Tiger Woods?
There we go. There you go.
Tiger
45.
Woods is 45.
Okay.
Tiger
So that
Woods,
means
45.
a year.
He's got 5 years
See,
practice.
Yeah, depends on his
to be-
birthday is
you know,
43.
Before all of the Tiger shenanigans and all the back injuries, I thought to myself, he will definitely win a major while playing on the Champions Tour. He definitely will. It's just the way the fitness is. Obviously, all the injuries.
In that car wreck that
Yes. But I still think, if Ben Hogan can come back from a car wreck, Tiger Woods can.
Interesting.
And yeah, it will be very interesting. I think he's going to do it. I think this is going to fuel him, going to press him on, going to fuel that fire, and he's going to win again. But again, Phil Mickelson's the man.
Let's
Phil-
hop back on.
Phil's the man.
Let's
Yeah.
hop back on Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
Tim
transition, a comeback.
And so Urban Meyer is the head coach at Jacksonville. Correct?
Yes, he's new head coach at Jacksonville. Created a buzz even before the draft. It was a big deal. Like,
Well, just with Trevor Lawrence going there, that's a big buzz.
Yeah, and so they are speculating. Is there a way? Like, it was an article I read. Is he going to possibly join the coaching staff? And so I'm sitting there thinking, this guy is a competitor. If you go back and look at his highlights, he led the Broncos to playoff win.
Yes.
There's not all quarterbacks that currently play in the NFL have won a playoff game. Tim Tebow is on a roster as a tight end, and he's won a playoff game as a quarterback. So, he's a competitor. He can win. Like, he's just a
Not
natural
only to
born
mention,
winner.
he's probably in some of the best shape he's ever been in his life right
Well,
now.
that's what Urban Meyer said, that there's nobody with a harder work ethic than Tim Tebow.
Yeah, like it takes like everyday training to stay in that
There was
level
a
of fitness.
Facebook picture of his transformation from when he was winning the title in college to what he looks like now.
Oh, he's a beast.
And he's huge.
He's
Yeah,
real. And if you've got work ethic, that goes. That shows.
He's gifted.
If
Works
you're-
hard.
And there's a lot of hard-working people out there, but if you throw skill and
Skill
talent,
with- yeah.
oh my goodness,
You
I
can do
think,
a lot,
I think
right?
Rob said, I can't wait to see social media once Trevor Lawrence throws the first touchdown pass to Tim Tebow.
I mean, it's gonna but what comes with that though is all the haters.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
I'm calling them
scrutiny.
haters.
Absolutely.
Why are we not
Stephen A.
lifting this
Smith.
up? Like telling
my.
every kid that you have a chance in life, and now you're sitting there trying to say, "Oh, just because he hadn't played in a few years, he can't do it." What a dream, right? This guy just wants to play. Like he just wants to play ball,
Yeah.
and so he gets a chance. Like let's
Well, and
champion that
I
and see what happens.
I listened to the outtake of Stephen A. Smith, who, yes, he says some outlandish things, especially against my Cowboys, and he's a hater on them, but he does it to create ratings.
Absolutely.
And right before he did his opinions on Tim Tebow, he did give him a bunch of kudos in about his work ethic.
Yes.
And a great heart guy, yes. So
Yeah.
he did throw him some flowers before he jumped on him.
Well, sure, and he called it white privilege, and a lot of people trying to compare him to Colin Kaepernick, and to me, that's an apple and an orange. Like, you go look at stats of quarterbacks. I mean, they're just going off of what's real. It has nothing to do with color of skin here. Can the guy play tight end? Can he do it?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters.
Well, his size and work ethic, he can definitely be a blocking tight end. Can he
do
catch
it.
the ball?
Yeah, he can catch the ball. He caught some touchdowns as quarterback when he played Florida, like some trick plays. Anyway.
Hey, it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be
It
fun
will
to
be.
watch. Tebow's going to be great, and I'm glad he's doing it because he's telling every young
Block
person.
and release.
He's telling every young person out there, you have a chance if you work hard.
Yep.
There's always a
Let's,
chance. There's always a second chance.
Let's dive into this first segment. Some of the most iconic sports moments of all time. It could be a play. It could be a game. It could be a player.
Iconic sports
When we were sitting around
moments.
the other day, of course, you mentioned
We could talk about some boxing because it's not really a game
We'll get
or
to the
a
boxing.
team.
But
Yeah.
you
There's a
mentioned the
moment.
greatest plays. You were talking about the very first Bulls championship, the right-handed layup by Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
swap to the left
Swap
hand.
to the left hand. Yes, I remember watching that
You were probably
replay.
watching it live.
Well, actually, my grandfather was watching it. I was watching Monday Night Nitro, but I remember
That's what we talked about,
It was,
WCW, yeah.
I know. Yeah, it was a commercial break, so I went and I kind of sat. He had a recliner, so I kind of stood behind him and I watched Jordan make that shot and how incredible it was.
You know those satisfying videos you can watch on Facebook that's like really satisfying and like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
calms your mind?
Yeah.
Just go watch Michael Jordan in slow motion.
Well, here's the deal.
You bring a good point there.
I started watching, and I know y'all have. I haven't finished it yet. I'm behind. But The Last Dance, you don't realize, I forgot how good he was. Not how good he was, how great he was. When you watch some of those highlights, I mean, my goodness.
My generation,
He-
like they know, but they don't know.
Well, and now we've got, of course, LeBron. Okay, fine. That's all that this generation knows, LeBron. But a great little snippet meme that I saw was Kobe and Jordan were hurt, but they told you that they weren't hurt.
Yeah.
LeBron,
O'Brien tries to convince you that he is hurt when he's not.
there you go. Yes,
Yeah, I
that's
saw
the
that.
difference. But Jordan's the greatest ever, bar none. Period.
Yeah.
He made everybody around him better. And had he not went to play baseball, which is fine, that's what happened, they would easily have won 8 straight
I'll say
championships.
one of his most
yeah.
Bar
iconic, one of his most iconic that I love is his flu game. Dropped like 52 points.
Yeah.
with the flu. When I have the flu, like I don't want to get off the couch.
Yeah, that was,
But he looked like that on the bench when he went to the bench.
yeah.
Hey, when I was a kid, the greatest iconic sports moment was in the movie Space Jam when he came off that spaceship to go and play baseball. Okay,
Don't even-
they were bringing him back, so that was pretty cool as a kid.
They were filming that, I think, after the '92 Dream Team during that same.
Yeah.
Don't get me
time
started on
frame.
Space Jam because they're remaking it right now.
Yeah, LeBron's in it.
I know.
You're
I'm not
upset
happy.
already.
I am upset.
Don Cheadle's in it, like he's like the mastermind
Oh,
guy.
Lord.
Yeah,
Oh,
I saw
gosh.
the
So it's
trailer.
like Nate Robertson. But
Yeah.
anyway.
There's certain
Anyways,
movies you don't remake. And that's one of
iconic
them.
sports moments
Now-
just because of the movie.
Real quick.
but the Miracle on Ice.
One
Yes,
of my all-time
that's iconic.
favorite.
Yeah, I saw the movie. Kurt Russell, he's coach. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right.
Great,
Real
great
quick,
moment.
best sports movie. Real quick,
Best sports movie.
best sports movie. Just right
Oh,
off the cuff.
man. Does Forrest Gump count? He played good football.
Coach,
Oh, gosh.
Coach Carter.
Coach Carter.
Coach
okay.
Carter?
All right.
All right, some good stories in that.
Yeah, of course.
Is anybody going to say Hoosiers?
Oh, that's what I was going to
Okay.
go for.
Okay.
Hoosiers.
That's
it's
a good
one of my
too.
all-time
That's
classics.
Hoosiers.
But I love basketball. It is my sport.
He's going to say Blue Chips.
I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, "Remember the Titans."
Yes.
That's a classic movie, too.
As soon as he started talking about basketball,
it's a tie between that and Glory Road.
Glory Road.
Glory Road's a good
That's a
movie.
good one.
Greatest game ever played. Golf.
That's a great movie, too.
Francis, We Met.
I like We Are Marshall, too.
That's a good one.
That movie made me look up all that fella's stats
Yes.
as an amateur
Yes.
when he won that tournament.
Easy peasy lemon
I'll tell you-
squeezy.
Man,
Rob, come on, man.
Now here's another one. You ready? And I love movies.
Tin Cup?
based
What?
on- No. Cinderella Man.
Okay,
That's a good one.
True
That's
story.
a classic.
Yeah. Come on, Rob.
It's a great time in our history.
I'm gonna Oh man,
How did we persevere
What about
during
the,
the Great Depression?
Was it Seabiscuit the movie?
Yeah,
Horse-
Seabiscuit.
That's
Yeah.
sport, right?
Yeah.
Like, what kind
give
of
you that.
journey that was?
I was disappointed. I was disappointed. If I'm going to pick a horse movie, it's going to be Secretariat.
Secretariat. That's
Yeah.
That's the one I meant to say.
What?
But
All right.
greatest sports movie? I don't know.
Oh.
This is
We've done named all of them.
All right. Go back.
exactly. You
It's
took all mine.
opinionated.
Go back to the play. What do we got?
Greatest play.
Mine's really present.
Okay.
Not present. Probably 2016 is when Klay Thompson scored 60 points with only 11 dribbles.
That
Goodness. I didn't know
That's
about
pretty-
that. That's
yes.
pretty crazy.
I remember watching that as a coach, and I've been sitting there trying to tell kids this whole time, like, hey, quit dribbling the basketball.
Catch and shoot.
You don't get any points for dribbling.
Yeah.
Pass it. Pass the ball. It gets the point A
That's
to point
true.
B quicker. You know,
It does.
The point guard needs to dribble down the court just to get the ball down the court.
As a
pass
basketball
it.
coach,
and Klay
yes.
Thompson did that. I was
Yes.
like, that is a big
Yeah.
deal right there to show people, hey, you don't have to dribble the ball. He just caught and shot.
That's the one I wrote down. I didn't remember how many dribbles he had, but it's
We
60
got on it
points
the
with
other day,
11
but
dribbles.
greatest sports moments back in the 90s, whenever Tyson was making his comeback out of jail, we rented it, me and my friends. We split it all where you got the pay-per-view. It cost $50, $60, $70 or whatever. Even back in the 90s, that was a ton of money.
$54.99.
Yeah, so we all split it, $10 a piece, whatever.
Yeah.
And Tyson Holyfield 1, Tyson Holyfield 2. We were jumping up and down in the living room. Of course, nobody thought that he could be beat. We knew that the Buster Douglas thing was a fluke, but it was one of. I'm a boxing fan. I'm also a Rocky, even though they're not the greatest acting movies. I love Rocky movies.
Yeah.
and so I love boxing.
He should have won the
that's my-
Academy Award.
That's my movie right there.
Stallone should have won the Academy Award. He's the only person to have Rocky got
Series.
nominated,
Yeah.
and then when he came back for the other one, same role,
Creed.
not Creed,
Balboa.
Balboa. Balboa.
There was a couple movies there, and then Creed 1,
Yeah.
Creed 2 was really good.
He was nominated again, and he didn't
Yeah.
win. He
Yeah.
got robbed. But anyhow,
When Rocky fought the Russian, was it Rocky 4?
Yep, that's Rocky 4.
I think that's the greatest sports movie ever. Like,
1986.
wow. That's an underdog.
I thought
story.
it was well made.
Yeah.
Rocky's
Oh,
a great
man.
sports movie too. But
Yeah. Rocky
Hoosiers,
4.
there's just
No,
something
no,
about
no.
Hoosiers.
That could have been 80. Yeah, that's right. It was 84.
I'm gonna go
I
home and
believe.
watch Hoosiers tonight.
That's a great movie. Have you ever seen it?
Gene
Okay.
Hackman
Yeah, he had all of the
was a
movies.
coach.
Okay. So one of the plays, I know this is a play. It's one of the plays that stands out to me. I'll never forget Bo Nose, Kansas City Royals running up the wall.
Oh, that's. You're talking about athletes.
Yeah.
Greatest
Oh, man.
athlete of all time.
One of the greatest
Bo
athletes
Jackson.
ever.
Bo Nose.
I'll say he's the greatest one ever. Greatest athlete ever.
Skilled, talented, and they
He
said
caught the ball, ran up the wall, and ran back down. Never missed a stride.
No, just kept going.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
what about the time that and I know it's been done before by certain great athletes, but he caught a fly ball near the wall and threw a line drive
Yes.
to home plate
Yeah, got him
Yes.
out.
and got
Yes.
him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tagged up. They were going.
Bo Jackson. Got
don't
some
do that
iconic
against
sports
Bo.
moments.
Did y'all ever see the 30 for 30 with Bo Jackson?
Yeah, it was great, man.
Yeah, it was good.
Talked
Yeah.
about it, the way he injured that hip, all
yes.
that pressure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of iconic sports moments that influence a lot of history and culture and all that. But I'm going to go a more relevant one: the Patriots versus Falcons, the second half comeback. Going back and watching the Edelman mic'd up moment with Brady and that whole second half of how they knew that they were going to win that game.
Wow.
They were down.
I haven't seen that.
And they kept encouraging their teammates. Just told them, hang in there, boys. Hang in there. We got this. And it kept like speaking it to them. Kept speaking it to them, and things started happening. Yeah, the Falcons just totally gave it away, probably. But they came back and won the game.
Following
That's a
that,
moment.
Yeah, and we've talked about, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
We mentioned this the other day.
It's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. How in the world do you change teams to probably without him would be a mediocre Tampa Bay team?
Yeah, mediocre at best. They were struggling.
And yes, they added Gronk, who is
Sure.
a go-to tight end.
Yeah, but he wanted to play with Brady, of course.
Yeah,
because
that's his buddy.
they knew.
Had to go get a ring.
Which, by the way,
that's crazy.
Just so y'all will know, I'm the only one that picked the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl. I do
Yes.
believe I got a Sonic. No, not a Sonic. I got a Chick-fil-A meal out of it, so thank y'all very much.
You're welcome.
So, while y'all are talking about Tom Brady being the GOAT, I'm the only one that picked him.
He's
I just want to bring that up.
go right there. Yeah.
So,
I really
Secretariat,
thought Kansas City would win.
Secretariat,
Back to the
watching,
horse.
back to horse racing, watching Secretariat. Of course, I wasn't born yet, but watching the clips of the horse winning the Triple Crown with, I believe, Ron Turcotte riding, to know that Secretariat is crossing the finish line and the other horses are just coming into the stretch, just
Yeah.
making the turn. The camera has to pan out. I mean, we'll never see that again. That's pretty impressive. But
Yeah.
Secretariat did have an enlarged heart.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Wow.
Now, I'm not taking away from Secretariat,
Oh no.
but
No,
did have
that
an enlarged
enlarged
heart.
heart was like it's not really a defect.
No. It wasn't a defect. No, it's just the way it is, the way that, I mean,
The way the good Lord built it.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I know
It is.
that gets overlooked, but I just want to say how impressive that was.
This is when it sticks out to me, just off courage, just toughness. And it's the year Kobe Bryant came out with his low-top shoes. And I was a big skeptic of the low-top shoes. I was like, you're going to tear your ankle up. Anyway, I think it was that year he tore his Achilles, right? But on that shot or on that play, he got fouled, right? So he goes to the free throw line with a torn Achilles, sinks both his free throws. Then they call timeout. The only way to get him out the game was to make that second free throw. Otherwise, the game goes on, right? He drains them, no doubt about it. With a torn Achilles, he's at the free throw line. I was like, wow.
It's pretty impressive.
That's a pretty impressive moment, just sitting there as a basketball coach and a player and like enjoying the game. I was like, man, that is something else right there.
He's definitely
The
another
same thing
competitor.
happened to Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Clay doing
He
that.
knocked them both down. They got him out of the game.
I've never torn mine, but I heard it's like
I don't
it
wanna-
hurts, and to be able to go out there and not only shoot but make them, like knowing,
Caleb
like
and
Kobe
I-
went to the line knowing
We're
they were
going to
going to
pass
win.
out if we talk about it in too much detail.
I did feel like I was close to tearing my Achilles heel when I rode the one wheel into the bathroom door the other day, but I survived. Tiger Woods winning the U.S. Open against Rocky Medier with a broke
2008.
leg. Tiger Woods, yes, 97 Masters when he won by 12, but what about Tiger Woods as far as iconic sports moment, winning the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach by 15 shots? That's unbelievable. We'll never see that again.
Never.
Let's talk about, you brought it up the other day, because NBA kind of does it more than other sports, but the All-Star Weekend, everything, the dunk competitions and three-point competitions.
Oh.
We did talk about that a lot, and that has so much shifted. Of course, I start watching the NBA in the 80s, and it was Dr. J, and he had never won a championship in the NBA championship. I think he won an ABA championship. They got a big trade between
Wait, the ABA, we had a championship?
No.
American Basketball Association.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
But in the dunk competition started in that American Basketball Association, swapped over to the NBA. Moses Malone, huge blockbuster trade between Houston Rockets and the Philadelphia 76ers. They start having these dunk competitions. In comes the the 3-point line had not come into being yet. I forget the year. It was in the early 80s. They start that, and then all of a sudden, we've got this dual competition, 3-point shootout, as well as the dunk competition. We also, me and you, talked about what was the greatest. And yes, there's been some great ones. Who was the younger ones with the Orlando Magic?
Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine was with the
Zach
Bulls.
LaVine. That was an incredible one. But, of course, my all-time favorite was Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. I believe that was 1988. I may be wrong.
Is that the free throw? Free throw line up?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that the first time that was even tried? Like that was.
Oh, no. Dr. J did it.
Dr. J
He
did do it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but Michael looks so...
Now it's done every year.
Well, the thing that
Now it's
separates
never
you,
with that
when
flair.
Dr. J did it, he took off at the free throw line. He had the ball already even above his head. He's bringing it down. He's going to dunk it, and he does. Let me get back in the microphone. But here's what Michael did different when he clutched it. He pulled it back up his head and then dunked it.
He also had his tongue out. Probably.
Zach LaVine, though, he went between the legs from the free throw line.
Yeah.
And did 360.
Yeah.
Jordan's still
Pure
Jordan.
dunking machine.
Like
Yeah.
Mike.
And
Everybody
that's-
wanted to be like Mike.
And that for me, I'm a big LeBron fan, but that is why Jordan is the best right there. Is because LeBron never went and entered
Well,
into a dunk competition.
none of the big guys,
The fans wanted it.
ever do the dunk competition anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
None of
That's
the big
what's wrong
names
with-
do it. I know.
That's why I don't watch it.
So like Jordan, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna win this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it was all about competition. It wasn't about
Steph Curry should be in a 3-point contest every year. He should be in it every year.
I do want to get this in. I want to play off what Rob just said. My spin on the LeBron and Jordan thing is a little different, and but y'all resonate with this, and that's this: is that one-on-one and pure stats, LeBron is a better ball player than Michael Jordan. One-on-one, pure stats. And but here's where Jordan separates himself, and that is the way he interacts as a leader with his team to get the whole team to step up by playing defense and offense. The whole thing. He gets that team going.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it, but that's what great leaders do.
Jordan summed it up himself. He was asked the question: '90s Bulls versus LeBron's Lakers. Who would win and by how many? He said we'd win by what, 3 or 4 points?
3 or 4 points.
Well, why so? Because we're in our 60s.
That's why it'd only be 3 or 4 points.
That's right.
Because we're all in our 60s.
We're all in our 60s. He summed it up. Jordan's the greatest, bar none. Period. End of discussion. Let's not even talk about it. Move on.
It popped up
Amen.
on Facebook the other day, but when Larry Bird won the 3-point competition, and he won it by a landslide, but he wanted to go around one more time to beat his score because he had already beat the guy before him.
Yeah, like he just.
And of course, he shows up, and we're going to have a bleep bleep because he says which one of y'all bleep bleep is going to end up second every year. Every time he showed up, that's
Well, those guys were just all about competitive fire, ribbing one another.
Yep.
It wasn't about, oh my, I could get hurt. I mean, it was, let's get it on.
I loved when, of course,
They didn't have a trainer back then. They just play with. They just keep playing.
But Steph was in it this year. He won it this year. But I love when Steph and Clay were in it together because they're like right now they're the greatest shooters in the league.
They are tremendous shooters, and have mercy. They can shoot from anywhere.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Talking about shooting and talking about 3-pointer, how good was Pete Maravich?
Pistol
Maravich,
Pete.
yes, unbelievable talent and skill. He just never had anybody on his team with him.
Okay.
And
He was at the Lakers, right?
well, no,
No.
he ended
Not
up
always.
New Orleans Jazz.
Yes.
before
Okay.
they moved to Utah. Of course,
But didn't he play for
LSU
the Lakers?
His scoring total, but this is back whenever you played 4 years of college.
Yeah.
And averaged 44 points a game for his career,
Yeah.
as well as 4,000 some odd points,
crazy.
whatever it is. I may be wrong on that total, but
Yeah.
for
I mean, I guess
Everything.
you don't get a court named after you.
That's a great sports
I mean,
movie.
LSU. Yes, it is. It is.
Pistol Pete.
Yes.
pistol.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, Caleb, what do we got?
Let's wrap it up. Let's give these people a break. We've been going for about 20-something minutes so
Okay.
far, and we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the greatest sports teams. This is all opinions. Don't forget that, but it's our opinion of who we think the greatest sports team is of all time. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the Sharon Jesus podcast. Today it is all about sports. In this second segment, we are going to be talking about the greatest sports teams of all time, all generations, locally, in the state, in the country, professional, college. What
Thank
y'all
you,
got?
Caleb. I'm looking forward to this second segment. I had a lot of fun on the first one. I want to do a quick shout out. Our church member Jared Toller plays for the Arkansas State Red Wolves.
Yeah,
That's right.
Big
Plays
baseball player.
baseball.
Freshman and
Freshman,
playing.
first base.
Yeah.
And hit his first college home run the other day,
That's
I believe.
right.
Yeah.
Hit his first dinger.
I'm
That's
Way to
excited.
go.
I was listening to that recording. I believe that was his mom hollering
Yeah.
on that recording. That was really
Absolutely.
great. And Miss Janet, if you're listening, and of course the whole family, we're super proud of Jared Toller. All right, what do we got? Speaking of locally, what do we got? Razorbacks?
Yeah, speaking of
Razorbacks.
locally and greatest sports teams, Arkansas baseball is really good.
Well, you can't say baseball without putting in the softball. I know they get overshadowed
Yeah.
a lot, but softball's been killing it too. And they're doing good. Track and field. I mean, there's so many championships right now on the hill. We're just like rolling in it.
Speaking of local, didn't our very own Miss Brittany
Dorsey.
Dorsey
Yeah.
just went blank, and
Yeah.
she's
Benton
a coach.
softball just won
Benton
state championship.
State championship.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's
Shout
impressive.
out to them. I'm trying to
Absolutely.
think of local.
And they were, I believe, undefeated.
Yeah.
Yes, like
But
31
31 and 0.
Holy
Play that many games and be
moly.
undefeated. That's a
impressive.
Big, yeah, that's a
I
big
am
deal.
so excited for Miss Brittany. If you're listening to this, hey, shout out to you. But yes, the Razorbacks, back to them.
We could talk about today, but what's the most like iconic sports teams Razorback history? What are they?
It's a given. I mean, yeah, you talk about Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, Oliver Miller. I'll never forget watching number 1, number 2, UNLV, Tark the Shark up there at Barnhill. It was unbelievable. I mean, yes, we did get beat, but you knew that the Razorback basketball was coming alive. And of course, I know Sidney Moncrief and what was the half court shot? Who made the half court shot?
I don't know, man. I'm drawing a blank.
U.S. Reed, back
Okay.
in the 70s, I believe. But nonetheless, 94 Razorbacks, Scotty Thurman,
Man.
Corliss Williamson.
Sean knows them so much better than I do. I knew
Corey Beck,
especially the two
Dwight Stewart.
forwards, Todd Day and all them, and Corliss Williamson, and so just listening. And I was living in Texas then when all that was going down. I was pastoring over there, and of course a huge Final Four fan watching all of this.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course the shot, Scotty Thurman playing Duke. They were, it was neck and neck. Scotty Thurman, shot clock running down, high arcing 3-pointer to put us ahead. It was basically the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great classic
watched the
game.
play.
You know you're old though when some of our mid-20s talk about us reaching the Elite Eight. That was a huge deal.
Yeah.
I'm excited about Razorback basketball. All that
The Must Bus.
the Must Bus is doing.
We're on it.
But absolutely, but yeah, first time we're in the Elite Eight, and of course you feel old when you think back to '94. They weren't even born then.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had a lot of people talk about listening to our stories. They said, "Hey, Brother Michael, are you next?" And of course, Michael and Caleb, myself, are next on that. We interject a sports moment. Rob, you played for the Razorbacks, and so what do you think about the coach, where they are now? Just give us about a minute here.
Okay.
Are we switching to football, Pittman?
Well, no.
Well, we're talking about local teams.
Okay, okay.
Local teams. And I'll even talk briefly about the 64 championship team.
I don't know much about that. Please do.
Not many people do. That's in my opinion.
Is that the one that the
You should look at
president came
team.
to?
That's the one. He probably was there, but,
No, that was
that's
Nixon.
the one that everybody was on the team.
Okay.
Jerry Jones was on the team.
Oh.
Everybody that's big in football today, like owners and stuff, they were on that team.
Oh, okay.
And so just big names in the state,
wow.
they were on that team. And just looking at the team picture, it's funny. I'm like, there's some high school teams who probably beat these guys, but that's just how the game's changed. But today, I'll say this: I think we're headed in the right direction. You do have a players coach. When I played up there, played for Bobby Petrino.
Was Bobby Petrino a player coach?
Not at all, and it was just all about business, and it worked to a certain level.
Business and motorcycles.
It did, and so. Anyways, I got a whole long list of stories. Anybody want to hear them? Y'all come talk to me personally.
I do want to hear them.
I'm not going to talk about on the podcast anyway. So we were successful back then. And Ryan Mallett was quarterback, and then followed it up Tyler Wilson. And we had great receivers in my class. It was Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Greg Childs, Chris Gregg, tight end. A lot of guys like that. And
I watched Jarius at Warren.
And they were really good. And so I think now, I think we're getting a good balance. The main thing that I'm looking at is how good our defense is playing, and they're playing with guys that we were told that weren't any good by the previous coach. That told just they wasn't good, and so Pittman came in and said, "No, we got what we got. These are our guys." And we're going to play football. And they started playing with just a higher level of defense. And I just love watching them. Yeah, we only won 3 games. But if you think about it, if you had to put in there some non-conference games and how close some of the other games that we lost this past year, I think we're headed in the right direction. We had a decent year to win 3 SEC games, tie in some non-conference games. We'd have been eligible for a bowl. But anyways... stuff happens, and I think we're headed in the right direction.
That's cool.
Let me ask this. Do you think, I think watching them play that Pittman got every ounce of their ability and just their want to. I just feel like he just pulled it out of them. Is that true?
I'm disconnected from the program now, but I can tell, just a coaching perspective, and I went to a few of the games, or not this past year, but I could see the difference.
Okay. So they wanted to be there, and they wanted to play and give him everything they had.
And think about it, playing in Arkansas, it is a huge deal. It is a big honor because in Arkansas, that is the pro team.
Yes.
And this is something that I told Petrino once in a closed door meeting with him. I was like, we got a bunch of guys on our team that don't know what playing for the Razorbacks mean. They don't know what that hog on the helmet means. And so the previous coach before him, Houston Nutt, ultimate players coach. I'm talking about he could get somebody to run through a brick wall, literally. He got everything out of his players. And I don't know how he did it, but he just could just reach in. There's a few folks out there that can coach hard. Everybody else can't do it. One of them is Houston Nutt.
Wow.
And I think another one is my dad. I saw him coaching. But anyway, I think Pittman is headed in the right direction. Razorbacks are headed there. And I think the 64, they got a bunch of T-shirts and stuff.
Wasn't
and
Jimmy Johnson on that team?
Yeah. And
His
Frank
friend,
Bowles is coach. And so big deal. But think about it. There was no championship set up like it is today. You just claimed it. Yeah. Well, if you go to University of Alabama, guess what they have? 64 hanging up in their stadium. A national championship.
Brain fart here. Let's one day let's do a part 2 on Arkansas football and get all
Arkansas football
on the podcast.
We could probably get Chris Hooten in here.
Yeah.
Probably get his brother Chad. Maybe if we talk sweet to him.
Maybe Livingston in here.
Yeah, we might could get the whole crew, but I'd love to talk some Razorback ball with him. But I think Sam Pittman's got them in the right direction. And so anyway, best sports teams. I don't think you can ever put the 64 Hogs national championship on there. And I'm a big Hogs fan, ride or die. But there was 6 teams that claimed national championship that year just because of the way the bowl game went.
What about, okay, I'm talking about sports, Arkansas sports. I've always said it. If you want to talk about a dynasty, across the board, Arkansas track and field is a dynasty, bar none, and they don't get the credit.
They don't get the credit for it. Oh, but if you go up there,
our facilities
that we have for track and field are great. How
many national championships have they won? Matter of fact, how many national championships have they won back to back to back to back?
Several.
I know. Yeah. And they're still winning them.
They're still winning. They won SEC this year. Might win national championship. I think it's coming up soon.
They were talking about that on the show with no name this morning.
And it's not just like the boys. It's the boys and girls.
Oh, I know. It's bar none.
Yeah. So the treatment of the track athletes, it comes with privileges. Every sport has privileges, but they had a trained massage therapist and like they were required to go get massages. Like they really train the body, and like they're required to have massages and stuff. I was like, man, can I come come be a water boy for the track team?
Weren't you telling me that everybody wanted the track and the track and fields jacket?
Oh no! Well, that was actually the swim team. Swim team had a cool jacket. And it got cold up there in January in Fayetteville. It was cold, but the swim teams had these huge parkas. The track and field gear was awesome.
So you're telling me though, up on the hill, they get the credit that they deserve.
Like we know who the track people are.
Cool. That's good.
Talk about an iconic sport moment real quick, just to break up the segment. We invited this guy named his name was Bretta. He was from Norway, I think, and he was on the track team. Didn't know anything about him, and we invited him to play basketball with us one day. Just trying to, he's brand new on the hill, and here this guy is from Norway. Blonde hair, blue eyed, just kid. He's not tall or nothing, and we go out there to warm up. And he just pulls up like almost like Jordan from the free throw line and dunks it. And we're like, we're not playing basketball with you. Turns out he's a new high jumper in town. And you go to a track meet, you see him. He's just jumping like a deer, man. It's crazy. I was like, man, this guy's got skill right here.
He schooled y'all.
Yes.
This morning, I watched Uncle Phil, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he plays the guy. He's playing pool. Will got took, and Uncle Phil was sandbagging. That's exactly what he was doing.
And that proves what I've heard you say, that elite athletes can do just about anything.
Oh yeah, they can do anything.
You take a take Philly Mick right now. You could get him out there with some hickory shafted irons from like that they played with, and he would go out there, no doubt, and shoot par golf.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
No doubt about it.
All right, greatest sports teams of all time.
And I want to spin off greatest sports teams.
Hey, we're having fun here.
I'm going to get back on segue with what Caleb just said. Spin off Razorbacks, Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson.
You bringing up the Cowboys?
Oh, yes. My team. I can't help it.
How about them Cowboys?
92, 93, back-to-back. Of course, they defeat the Buffalo Bills, and both those Buffalo Bills lost 4 in a row, I believe it was.
4 in a row. Buffalo Bills were my team. Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas.
Oh, my.
Bruce Smith. 4 in a row. I'm still brokenhearted.
The greatest team to not win.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor. Just
and they,
bring that up.
For some reason, can't get over that. It's like they're cursed by that for some reason.
What was the field goal kicker under the Giants? Scott Norwood. Oh man, heartbreaker. Wide right.
Yes,
whatever it was.
Thank you, Pastor.
But yes,
rub it in.
Yes, and they had everything. They had the defense. Talking about the Cowboys, and yes, Barry Switzer was able to come along in 1995 after they missed that 1 year. I think it was San Francisco, and the monkey came off Steve Young's back and that in between year. But to me, football, one of the greatest ever. Yes, there were some other teams that could have beat the Cowboys that year. Maybe the 1985 Chicago Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, William Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Walter Payton.
Jim
Jim
McMahon.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, they had a song.
Yeah.
They had a rap. Yeah.
They had a rap song.
Super Bowl rap.
Yep.
I'm not going to sing it.
And I think when it comes to teams, most of us really only watch basketball and football.
I mean, here it comes. Go ahead, Rob. I'm going to let you take the floor. Greatest team ever assembled. Here we go.
Greatest team ever assembled. There's a lot out there. But I'll say this. I remember as a kid, probably didn't watch it, but I saw the gear and the posters and all this stuff. The Dream Team 92.
92.
Oh, my.
And imagine if Jordan, we were talking about it pre-show, imagine if Jordan would have been on the 96 team, of how good that team would have been. But I remember watching the 30 for 30 segment on that Dream Team and the greatest game never played and the practice that they had. And
it's still on YouTube.
Yeah. Christian Leitner, they told him just go over and sit on the bench and watch. He's a college kid.
And he did.
We'll bring you in for a last second shot if we need you. But imagine just those guys competing against each other that don't normally get to do that on a daily, and they get to sit there and practice together. The backup team of the Dream Team probably could have won the Olympics.
I would agree with that.
Like the backup team.
Yes.
So great. That's the greatest sports team ever assembled.
All right. So here we go. Let's see. Jordan, Pippen,
Pippen was on it.
Leitner, of course, since we mentioned him.
Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Bird,
Charles Barkley.
Barkley. Sorry, Charles.
Yep, got him. And
Robinson, Magic, Ewing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
It just gets better and better.
Patrick Ewing.
Who do you?
That's like when you play 2K, you're not allowed to have them.
Chris Mullins.
Yeah, Chris Mullins.
Wasn't Mullins on there?
So our two
Yep, there he
centers
is.
was Patrick Ewing and David Robinson. Oh my!
Yeah,
Okay,
Goodness.
besides all-star teams, best basketball team.
Who is that? Chuck
Of all
Daly?
time.
That's Chuck Daly, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
he was the head
Yep.
coach.
Yep. Okay.
Best basketball team all time outside of that team because that's the unanimous number one.
That's all-star team.
Yeah.
Which Bulls do you want to pick?
Yeah, which Bulls do you want to pick? Because
I'm going to go with the second one
Yeah, the second three-peat Bulls.
Yep.
Gotcha.
with Dennis Rodman. Love him or hate him, he was a
The
talented
worm.
guy.
Oh man, he was he brought defense to like the limelight, made defense cool.
He knew
And
his
rebounding
Yeah.
cool.
he knew his role.
Yeah,
He knew his role.
he had some off the court
Well,
roles
and his
too.
role
He
was-
probably
Oh, yeah.
need to
I
figure out.
compare him a lot to Draymond Green.
Yep, and his greatest talent was not defense and not rebounding.
He'd get in their head.
Exactly.
Yes.
Get in their head.
All he does is get fouls and technicals. Doesn't really get any points, but he rebounds the ball and plays great
What?
defense.
Rebounds, gets in other teams' heads.
And
Other
yes,
teams
I
takes
know
the
it's
brain
helped
and
his
puts it in his
defense,
palm
yeah.
and just shakes it around.
When he made
That's
a
cool.
3-point shot, I mean it was pretty crazy. I was watching a replay one day? Didn't they show? Was it Shaq that made a 3-point shot one day? That's like the only one he ever
He made one.
Yeah, he made one.
He made one.
Yeah. Greatest free throw shooter of
I
all
have-
time,
I have-
Shaquille O'Neal.
I think that's the only one he ever tried as well. You know.
Oh,
I
heck
have
of
an
Shaq.
unpopular opinion.
Oh, Lord.
I think
Oh man, you're gonna say something about the Warriors?
No.
Get out of here.
Get outta here.
The 15-16 Warriors.
Did they win the championship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they went 73-9, greatest record,
That's true.
greatest
And it
season record.
They
But-
didn't win that year, did they? Did they?
Yeah.
The year that they.
did the 73.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
73-9.
But
Okay.
That's when they had Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, and Iguodala. And I don't think
So they had like a
I don't
subpar
think
dream
the Bulls
team.
could guard
and
the
barely won.
3-point shooting.
oh my, this is my son is brain damaged.
I don't think they could. I don't think they could guard the
I
shooting.
mean, I know he loves
Oh,
modern
gosh.
basketball.
Jordan would. He would.
Jordan couldn't guard KD, Steph, and Clay.
Hey, I will
I'll
say
say
this:
that.
He's one man, but here's the deal: Jordan would make everybody around him better, and they would figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm
And I would
impressed.
say that KD
Yes.
would lock down Jordan.
oh my,
No,
Cut the podcast off.
No.
Everybody, rewind your memory 5
Yes.
seconds. Please forgive Caleb.
yes,
Oh, gosh.
I admire.
He said it was going to be
Caleb's-
unpopular when he said it.
I
That's
admire
true.
Caleb's allegiance to modern basketball, but people, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
They don't play the same anymore. I don't watch it until
They don't
playoff
play the
time.
same anymore.
I don't watch it
Youth
until playoff
these
time because
days-
defense
They don't
is
play
just not,
defense
yeah.
anymore.
no.
It's not, until playoff
Not
time.
until playoffs.
Yeah,
no.
so I mean, why even watch the regular season? Just put them in a tournament at the beginning of the year, save all the money.
I don't
and just
watch the
play
regular
right there.
season. Of course, I barely watch it, but I mean, the finals I would tune in, especially with the Warriors. I did tune in, and I frankly haven't done that
You
since
mentioned
the
it in
Bulls.
the first segment, but shout out to one of the greatest teams ever, 1980 U.S. hockey team,
Oh yeah,
the Miracle on Ice. And
yeah.
we defeated
It's what
the
they,
Soviets.
what they overcame there, and it
Cold
just
War,
wasn't.
yeah.
It was a big deal in history. But what about you talking about basketball teams? What about? I know baseball would be hard to pick. Like there's so many good teams in baseball. The Yankees have so many teams. The
Yeah.
Braves were good in the 90s.
my. Oh, my.
When I was in the 90s, growing up in the 90s, sports was
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
I'm talking about the biggest thing ever. I was a Braves fan, and still today, if I had to pick a team, still going to be a Braves fan because they were on TV every
sports
single
was like
day.
sports. It wasn't like sports like news. It was just sports.
Just watching the game. And so,
it's-
Cowboys fan, Braves fan, and naturally just a Bulls fan. I was the biggest Bulls fan just because they were winners, right? Bandwagon fan here. Never
Well,
been
I
to
mean,
Chicago.
you
but
look
that's
at
what
it-
sports was.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. I mean, all the way across the board, you had Gretzky, you had Yeah, Gretzky. You had Jordan.
And then the Dallas Stars came on the scene in the hockey scene. They were really good in the late 90s, early 2000s. The Dallas Stars was good. And so I got invested into hockey because I was like, oh, Dallas is right over there. And had family from Dallas. So 90s was a good time. A lot of good sports teams in the 90s. But yeah. What about the 02 Lakers? When at the 02, they won a few. Kobe and when Kobe and Shaq were together. Derek Fisher was on a team. I think it was a few more.
I think Kobe's one of the
powerful.
only people that could give Michael Jordan a run for his money one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nah, one-on-one, I think LeBron will shut down anybody on the face of the country. But anyway, or face of the earth. But that's one-on-one. But that's not how basketball is played. Nobody does that.
Pop quiz: who was the greatest defensive man against Jordan? Anybody know?
Oh yes, it was on The Last Dance. He hated dadgummit.
Was it Reggie Miller?
Nope.
Wasn't it Drexler?
Detroit Pistons, one of the greatest defensive guys of all, from Natchitoches, Louisiana, Joe Dumars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Pistons were brutal.
Yes.
Yeah. Pistons had some good teams.
I mean, yes, they
that
did.
was in the late 80s?
Yes.
Is that right? That's before my time.
They would if you went up for a shot, they were
that playoff series.
You're gonna get
the
broke
Bulls and the
nose.
Pistons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were brutal.
That's-
They don't
basketball's
play
not
like that anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's soft today.
It's soft,
Got all these
that's right.
flagrant ones,
Yes.
and flagrant twos,
Yes.
you get a foul if you flopped or whatever.
Which, by the way, of course, Rodman played on the Pistons.
Yeah.
Won a championship with them.
He did.
Well, that's why they got him. That's
true.
We need you.
That's right.
They
yes.
won back-to-back right before Jordan started his first run.
So how many rings does Rodman have?
A lot.
Eight.
I mean,
Okay.
8.
He's got 8?
No, he got one with the
because he didn't get all of
with
them.
San Antonio. So
Did
he
he?
got 9, I
But
believe.
but he didn't get
Robert
all of
Horry's got 7.
He didn't get-
He's got more than Jordan.
Oh gosh. He does.
I may be wrong, but I think Rodman's got
Random
at
sports
least-
fact of the day.
Yeah, at least
Robert
8.
Horry has 7 rings. He's got more than Jordan, so he's better than Jordan, right?
It's all about rings. He's the best ever.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway,
And that's another thing about when it comes to I don't really count scoring records and stuff anymore because the game's so different.
Yeah.
Of course, Steph averages more points and LeBron has this many more points, but the game's just so different nowadays.
would you say Steph Curry is one of the best basketball players of all time?
let me say this: 1-on-1, LeBron James and Steph Curry, 1-on-1. You ready? Who would win game to 10?
LeBron James would take his lunch money every day.
This is what this is the
Do you
question.
get the ball? Do you get the ball if you
Make it
score?
take it.
Yes, make it take it.
Who won rock paper scissors to see who got the ball first?
That's what I'm going to ask. Who gets the ball first?
Who gets the ball first? It don't matter. Give the ball to Curry. LeBron's still going to win.
Because Steph Curry can separate space and get
Yeah.
by LeBron. I saw him do it the other night 10 times. I don't think LeBron he can't guard him.
Okay.
Interesting.
But anyway,
That's not how basketball is played, though. So we'll never know.
Kind of like the golf matches with Tiger and Phil and all them, the kind of charity things. They need to have that one-on-one. It would, it makes some money.
yeah, like a boxing match.
Yeah.
But
Just a
LeBron
one-on-one
wouldn't do
tournament.
it. LeBron wouldn't do it. You know why? Because he might get hurt.
That's right. Probably so.
I know. Oh, I know I'm right.
He might get hurt.
Before
There's
Before
the
we wrap it
difference
up, a shout
between
out
Jordan and LeBron.
A shout out to the coach. Phil Mickelson has 13 NBA titles.
Phil Mickelson?
Phil Mickelson?
Excuse me, Phil Jackson. Sorry,
Jackson.
we were on.
He was talking golf.
I was like,
Sorry,
Who did he play for?
That man is a
No wonder he
Phil Jackson. I get the
Phil
right
Jackson.
Phil. We
Yeah.
were just on Phil a while ago, but anyway, my brain collapsing. But
I mean, you're talking about coaches. Coach K at Duke.
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, that's coach right there.
And
I much respect for him because he's never stepped into the NBA circle.
Yeah, but he picked up. Well, he's coached a bunch of them through the Olympic
Dream team,
squads.
yeah.
Yes.
He picked up in '96. Was that right? And Coach K started
Yes.
coaching.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Wasn't he like an assistant coach on the '92 team?
I
Yes,
think he was.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
'Cause they had,
then-
like, 4 or 5
yes,
coaches.
and then he took over the head role.
Yes.
and I think that's why Leitner, I think, was on the Dream Team, was because Coach K was one of the coaches.
Yes,
He
they had
was
to
an
pick.
assistant
They had to
coach.
pick a college
Yep.
player,
And that
I
was him.
believe, and that was him. Yeah.
To wrap up the segment, just all around personality, love watching them play. Who's your favorite sports athlete of all time? Just personality, you love them on and off the court, all around. They may not be the greatest, but that's your favorite athlete. And I'll start mine, Steph Curry, just because.
Curry?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If I had to pick one, it would be Michael Jordan, just the competitiveness. And he's, like you said, we forgot until we watched this documentary. I forgot how good he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of others I'd love to watch too.
We both leaned to the mic at the same time. I'm going to say just fun to watch on the field, off the field, good guy. And I'm going to say this because of personal experience I had. I was at a Rangers game as a kid when they were playing the Mariners. And A-Rod was still on the Mariners, and Griffey was too. And was trying to get an autograph from A-Rod. We did not exist. Griffey talked to anybody, sign whatever, and he was the star, right? And just to see his career, what it was, and I'd say Griffey was the most fun to watch. His swing, had the good backswing, and that was his symbol.
That's pretty cool.
On the field, off the field, I think Griffey never involved in any kind of steroid probe or whatever they had going on in the MLB. He was always clean, good player, played for a long time. Ended up, I think, with the Reds. Played a long time, but he was really good. But the best one to see play, though, just in action, I'll say this. Barry Bonds was the reason I was a big baseball fan. Well, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa at the beginning, and Barry Bonds showed them how to hit. Showed those two guys how it's done.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that, but that whole race, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, that iconic sport moment for me growing up, baseball, was that. I had the little bobbleheads of McGwire and Sosa as a kid. Those are big moments there, but watching just a pure athlete hit a baseball that far into the bay and knowing that he's going to basically tell the pitcher, hey, if you pitch it to me and not intentionally walk me, I'm going to hit it out there.
Yeah.
And he would every time. It was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah. Sean, Griffey's my guy, though.
Wow. It's so hard. I mean, I'm just racking my brain just trying to figure out. Obviously Jordan, because he was such a competitor and because I grew up watching him, that was pretty unbelievable. I tell you what, here's one. And he is Arkansas boy.
There's just so many.
And you don't do what he's done without talent. And there's heartbreak and victory. Big John always, even to this day, he's a big donator for Razorback sports.
John Daly.
He's just what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Diet Coke, smoking a cigarette. I'm sure the PGA Tour loved it. But you don't win the PGA Championship, the British Open at St. Andrews. You could flat out play.
Yeah.
And it's a wonder what he could have done.
I went down to the New Orleans Compact Classic. I had the opportunity. I've only been to one PGA tournament. Got to follow him for a little bit.
Just a good old boy. I'm sure. And there's a story that
nice.
After he won the PGA Championship in 91 at Crooked Stick, there was a man who got struck by lightning and died. He actually won and put money in a trust fund for his two daughters, and didn't really even want to meet him. That's just something he did, type of guy he was. It was pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, hey, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We may do a part 2, like we said, on sports, but we're thankful that you stuck around and listened, and we'll catch you next time.